Hello, math learners. Hello, remote students. Today I'm going to tell you how to, when you're given the equation of a line and a point, write the equation for a line that's parallel or perpendicular to that line that passes through a given point. So remember, here's a little bit of review. To write the equation of a line, you need two things. One, the slope, and two, a point. So let's suppose I give us this following example. I say, write the equation of a line perpendicular to y is equal to negative x plus 3 passing through negative 6, comma 10. So we're trying to write the equation of a line, and I just told you that's going to require two pieces of information. One of them is already given to us. We need to have a point that lies on the line. This is a point that lies on the line. So we already have one of our two pieces of information. What is going to be really important to us is to figure out the slope. So let's focus on that. So if you have two slopes, let's call them M1 and M2, and they belong to perpendicular lines, the following fact is true. M1 multiplied by M2 will always equal negative 1. Well, okay, check this out. We have an original line. Y is equal to negative x plus 3. And so we have a slope. One of these slopes, let's go ahead and call it M1, is equal to negative 1. And M2, this slope, that's what we're looking for. That's going to give us the slope of a line that's perpendicular to that line. Then we're going to have the slope, and we're going to have a point, and we're going to be able to write the equation of our line. So let's go ahead and substitute in M1 is negative 1. So now I have negative 1 times M2 is equal to negative 1. I can divide both sides by negative 1. And I get M2 is equal to 1. So this is the slope that we're looking for. So now we have a point that they gave us in the problem, negative 6, comma 10, and a slope that we figured out ourselves by remembering the definition of perpendicular. M2 is equal to 1. So we have a couple of options for how to write the equation of a line here. I like to use the slope-intercept form. Most of the time when you see this kind of problem, this is what they want you to use for your answer. They want you to use the slope-intercept form of a line. We already have our slope solved for. Our slope is 1. So we know to fill in our slope there with a 1. So now y is equal to x plus b, because 1 times x is just equal to x. But we still need to know What is this b value all about? What is that? And how can we find it? This is where we will use our point. We can use our point -6, 10 to find b. Remember here that -6 is our x value and 10 is our y value. So we can actually plug that into our equation and then we'll be able to solve for b. So here we have a value x. That's going to be our -6. And then here we have our value of 10, and that's going to be our value for y. And when we plug those into our equation, we get 10 is equal to -6 plus b. And we just want to solve and figure out what b is going to be in this case. We can do that by adding 6 to each side. We get 16 is equal to b. Sorry, I know my b's look like 6's. This is a b. And now we know the b value for our equation. So we can plug that in. So we have our equation y is equal to mx plus b. We know m is equal to 1. B is equal to 16. And we can plug that in. Y is equal to 1 times x plus 16, which of course in simplified form is just y is equal to x plus 16. Not so bad once you know what you're looking for, but there's just a lot of information that you have to remember for this problem. You have to remember what perpendicular means. You have to remember how to plug in on all these formulas. But if you have that information at your fingertips, calculations are okay. I want to show you a slight variation on this problem. I'll do one more example. So write the equation of a line that passes through (2, 4). And instead of perpendicular, let's say is parallel to the line. 5x plus 2y is equal to 5. So we still need the same two things to write our equation of a line. We still need 1, the slope, and 2, a point. Again, the problem is so kind as to give us already a point, 2, 4. So that's handled. We need to find the slope. So what we really need to know, what slope is parallel to 5x plus 2y is equal to 5. That's really what this problem, that's what we need to know from this problem. You may not recognize this as an equation of a line. This is in standard form. Which is usually, you might recognize ax plus by is equal to c. But if we want to know the slope, and that's really what we want to know, we can convert this to y equals mx plus b. Then we'll be able to just look and find our m value. So then they'll know the slope of this line, and then we're going to need to find out what the slope would be for a line that's parallel to that. But first, one thing at a time, let's convert this line to the y is equal to mx plus b, And we're going to do that by solving for y. There's more than one way to do this. So if you have another method that you like, please feel free to use it. See if it's the same answer at the end of the day. There's always more than one way to do a math problem. This is just the way I like. I'm going to subtract 5x from each side. So my goal is to isolate y. I'm solving for y. So then I end up with 2y is equal to negative 5x plus 5. And I can divide by 2 on each side of the equation. And I'm left with y is equal to negative 5 halves x plus 5 over 2. And that's my equation here. Now I can see that the slope of my line is negative 5 over 2. And here's a fun fact. You may remember this. You may not from the previous video. When two lines are parallel, they have the same slope. So now we know that for our line, we have the point that they gave us in the problem, 2, 4. And we know that slope for our line is going to be the same as this slope that we found here, negative 5 halves. So all we have to do is what we did in the first problem. We need to plug in our slope, and then we're going to need to, after that, we're going to need to use the point to find b. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to start off by plugging in my slope of negative 5 halves. So I say y is equal to negative 5 over 2 times x plus b. And we want to know what that b value is. So I'm going to use my point. My x coordinate is 2. So I'm going to replace that with 2. Y is equal to negative 5 halves times 2 plus b. My y coordinate is 4, so I'm going to replace y with 4. So I have 4 is equal to negative 5 over 2 times 2 plus b. Before I solve for b, I'm going to simplify. I see that in this multiplication, I can cancel that out. So I have 4 is equal to negative 5 plus b. I can add 5 to each side. And now I know that 9 is equal to b. And so the equation for a line that is parallel to that first line is y is equal to negative 5 halves x plus 9. And that would be our final answer. I hope this helps with your homework.